Now, let's say you could have one film that you made that you could just take back and destroy. All the negatives, all the prints, everything. That would be just one.
Just one. You know, I don't think I would. There are some that I don't. I mean, I never see them again, ever. I've never seen a movie again after it was released.
A movie that you made, you just don't sit through it again?
No,
wow.
Never. So when I see these clips, I'm like, what? Who wrote that? So I know I never do that. The one I'm happiest about is Happy Endings. I think to me that worked out the best. Artistically, it was so wonderful making it. We made it for no money. The actors were wonderful, and I truly believed every character. I thought they were real people. That's my elevated artistic goal, is just to fool myself into thinking that the people I created are real people. There are a lot that, I mean, every movie you make is so disappointing, I think. It's all, like, so human. It doesn't approach what you were hoping for. And there's a lot of ways for it to go wrong. Not just that you might not be very talented one way or the other, but, you know, the real world comes in and you don't have enough time, or you don't have enough money, or you weren't even thinking right, or, you know. So I don't like any of them.
But
except Happy Endings.
Happy Endings is your life.
No, I mean, you're going to tell me
the one with Bounce.
I'm okay with it, yeah, because I met my sister met her girlfriend, and they have kids on that movie. I mean, I have a lot of reasons why I like the movies, even if they don't really work. You know, I met people I liked. You know what I mean? Oh, they had good craft service.
You can always focus on the
crafty. Always go back, or I stole something from wardrobe from that one.
You still wear it to this day.
Still wear it. I mean, there's always a reason why you do something. You don't really know why you do, what the point of it is. I know one thing, that, you know, no movie is worth almost any amount of pain. I just don't believe in that anymore. I used to think that they were worth a lot of pain and agony and sweat, and I don't really believe that now. I have a much more moderated feeling about movies. I think they're really important, because when you think about it, the movies that you love, they're probably part of your mind and have been part of your mental landscape all your lives. You'll probably be thinking about them. You know, in the last week of your life, you'll have images. They're sometimes more real to you than your own life. You know, I can barely remember my childhood, because God is so kind. But I mean, I remember a lot from movies, and so they're really important in one way. And we, as filmmakers, we're really asking the audience to give us a piece of the real estate of their brain that we're going to occupy for the rest of their lives. I mean, so we're asking a lot from the audience. On the other hand, you know, if it's not our film, it'll be somebody else's film. It's not my film, it'll be your film. We'll fill that space. You know, we're all part of a big conversation. No one movie is irreplaceable in one sense. Of course, I don't know what I would do without, you know, some of the movies that have meant a lot to me.
What's the movie that you think that's meant the most, or the one that you keep coming back
to? Well, Y Tu Mamá También, I think, is just the most wonderful movie ever made. But also The Last Picture Show is beautiful. A movie called Alice Doesn't Leave Her Anymore. I mean, that is the character, and every single woman I write is from that film. But I wouldn't, you know, if it broke up Martin Scorsese's marriage while he was making that film, it wouldn't be worth it. Do you know what I mean? There's a human cost to everything. Not that it did, but I don't think movies are that crucial if you're really going to give up huge parts of yourself. And that's why when I got the award, I said, make sure you have a life, and make sure that your life wins out over your career every once in a while.
And I was thinking there'd be some Robert Altman in there. It's not.
Oh my God, Nashville.
I feel a lot of Robert. Nashville I watch every year.
Oh my God, Nashville's the best movie.
You've gotten very close to the Nashville
I loved.
With that.
That was so good. I mean, how good is Lily Tomlin in Nashville? And Ronnie Lee Blakely.
And if you watch it even today, it's in this whole political campaign that's happening that sounds exactly like the last political campaign.
Yeah, it's the greatest movie, Nashville. But so is Gosford Park, and so is Howard's End, if you want to talk about.
Let's talk about Lisa Kudrow, because we like gossip here at the Outfest.
Oh, good.
She's in almost every movie you make, and she's always different.
Yeah.
And
she's never happy. She's always different.
How does that work? You say, I'm going to make a role for Lisa, here's the challenge for her? What's going on there?
No, there's something about her. You know, Lisa, to me, can articulate a character who is in a lot of pain, and instead of the pain making them self-pitying, it makes them hostile. And for some reason, I don't know why, that appeals to me. I do the self-pity thing. I mean, when I have pain, I go right down to, oh my God, how forlorn am I? But whatever, not as a person she doesn't, but there's something about her there's the pain behind her eyes, and yet I feel this ability to kind of be aggressive. And so that's very useful. I like irritable women in movies. I think they're very scary to the audience because, mothers are irritable, and when you're two, the mother is the scariest thing in the world. She's she gives everything and she takes away everything. And so when you write an irritable woman, that's why people hate women in general. In women directors, and how women are, as soon as they're a little bit strong, they call them bitches. And I mean, it's a tough misogynistic society, and it will be so until men start raising all the kids, and then little kids start fearing and resenting men for saying no all the time. But as it is, ladies, you're screwed because you're raising us all, and that no comes with a female voice.
Now, this is a theory I haven't heard, and I've
It's very sensible.
In this room and in other places here in the direction, we've been wondering, because right now, feature film directors who are female are less than they were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And you think that's because women generally raise children in a way that makes the children hostile to them, and therefore men don't want women to direct their films?
I just think people don't like women. I knew this when I was a child because I was a very effeminate child. And I would have tomboy girl friends, and they loved tomboys because girls are aping men. But sissy boys who are aping women, you would get all of this really crazy energy, like they didn't like it so much, but at all. And they were scared of it and freaked out. And because the female principal is the scariest thing in the world. I mean, absolutely, apparently. I mean, I'm not scared of women, but people are. And so I try to think, why are people so... To me, it's like, well, women, we just went through adoption. Where's my daughter? Good. We went through adoption, and, to me, if there were a God, to me it would appear in the shape of a uterus. I don't have one. And so the ability to actually create another human life is crazy. It's just crazy. So why wouldn't women be on top, really? Men, you just need the seed or whatever. I mean, women can actually create and house and give birth to another human being. They're essential. So you would think that societies would all be matriarchal, and then you think, well, what are my feelings about my mother? Well, they're complicated. So then you start to get a little bit of a hint that no, and put that away, and control, and all of those things have a female face when you're growing up, when you're at your most vulnerable. Maybe that's why, I don't know. I don't understand why women aren't running the world. And so I think it's got to be something very early on in the human species, the human development, that makes us fear the female.
Mm. And does this lead to, just in your work, there seem to be 2/3, I mean, maybe it's not this percentage, but it seems to be 2/3 to 1/3 women to men in your films in general?
Well, I just think they're more interesting. So, I mean, I think the way the culture does it is, men have a very, because men are supposedly better and more special, or I don't know, more to be honored than women, there's a very, men can't cry, they can't, there's a really limited role. I mean, when I was a kid, I, of course, didn't want to be a guy, because everything they had to do was so hard and rigid, and women they would tell stories, they would gossip, they would have emotional connections with other people. They just seem more interesting. I mean, there's nothing duller than a straight man. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, really.
It's said in the most loving way for you straight men out there.
I'm not judging. And you may be lovely, but you're not interesting. But I can talk to any woman, anytime, anywhere. Very rarely find a dull woman. So, I mean, and of course...
Now, do you think this might be what you are interested in, as opposed to
yeah, I'm sure. Themselves? I mean, I don't think anything applies to any... Don't take anything I'm saying like it's true, but this is how it seems to me. This is how it seems to me.